A nation was fractured in a not-too-distant future in a world not unlike ours. Recent national elections had been marred by widespread distrust in the democratic process, fueled by rumors and conspiracies that had taken root over the past decade. Politicians who once commanded respect now faced mobs demanding truth and transparency, even if that meant abandoning proven science or trusting the whispers of dubious sources. The phrase voluntary on a mandatory basis was one such contradiction that had become commonplace in government communication. Vaccination campaigns were framed as patriotic duties, but no one enforced them, and compliance was voluntary. The idea was to let people feel in control, but widespread confusion resulted. Amid this chaos, a shadow loomed from across the ocean. A powerful foreign government had long sown seeds of doubt, using disinformation campaigns to fracture alliances and polarize the public. This nation saw an opportunity in the West's vulnerable state and decided to strike in a way that was both subtle and devastating. 8 volunteers were recruited from among the foreign nation's most loyal and expendable agents. Each was outfitted with a subcutaneous capsule hidden deep beneath the skin, a marvel of modern biotechnology. These capsules contained a highly infectious, engineered virus that would be released when the capsules burst, triggered remotely. The volunteers were trained to move through the world with practiced ease, slipping into Western society without raising suspicion. The plan was deceptively simple. The foreign government capitalized on the West's reliance on lax health checks and the population's disinterest in vaccines. Airports were still busy, but the health screenings that had once been omnipresent during pandemics had since become cursory, little more than a nod to the past. The 8 volunteers dispersed across major hubs: Los Angeles, New York, London, Sydney, Berlin, Toronto, Paris, and Tokyo, each waiting for the signal. The first cases were reported in Los Angeles. A mysterious, fast-spreading virus sent hundreds of people to hospitals in a matter of days. Doctors recognized the patterns: fever, dry cough, respiratory failure, but couldn't identify the virus. It moved too fast, and mutations emerged within days, rendering initial attempts at treatment futile. As similar outbreaks began to pop up in other cities, the medical community struggled to find common ground. With trust in science already at an all-time low, conspiracy theorists proclaimed it a hoax, an engineered crisis designed to control the population. Others declared it divine retribution or a cover-up for government experiments. Public health officials begged people to stay home and mask up, but calls for lockdowns were ignored or met with protests. The 8 cities where the virus was unleashed became epicenters of chaos. With vaccination rates already dangerously low, there was little herd immunity to slow the spread. Hospitals overflowed within a week, and emergency rooms became scenes of desperation. The virus didn't discriminate. The healthy fell alongside the vulnerable, and health workers, unprotected by the now widely discredited vaccines, succumbed as well. A nation on the brink. Within a month, the situation had spiraled out of control. Entire neighborhoods were abandoned, and makeshift quarantine zones sprang up around cities. Grocery stores were emptied, supply chains ground to a halt, and food became scarce. Some communities organized to protect themselves, but they quickly descended into feuds, fighting over resources and fending off looters. In the rural heartland, militia groups seized power in the name of protecting their own, enforcing curfews and stockpiling weapons. Statistical models from the previous pandemic suggested that, without government-mandated action, a virus of this contagion level could kill millions. And that prediction came true. The virus showed no mercy, with death tolls climbing so rapidly that morgues overflowed and mass graves became a grim necessity. Leaders at every level failed to inspire unity. Public health measures were either ignored or viewed as oppressive, and volunteer efforts couldn't keep up with the surging numbers. A nation divided. The foreign government that had initiated the chaos watched the West unravel from afar. Their goal had been achieved. Weakened nations could no longer stand united or effectively challenge them, and while their actions were never publicly revealed, whispers of betrayal lingered in the hearts of those who survived. The aftermath was bleak. Once proud, the nation was now a shadow of its former self, haunted by a virus that hadn't needed to be powerful to bring it to its knees, only well-placed and well-timed. Trust was gone, and with it, any semblance of normalcy. A new era dawned, defined not by hope but by fear, as society struggled to rebuild in a world where conspiracy and distrust reigned supreme. Creator's conclusion. This scenario mirrors the possible outcome of a widespread infection due to insufficient public health measures, distrust in public health warnings, overwhelmed medical infrastructure, long-term economic damage, and a divided society unable to unite against a common threat. This story is a work of fiction, but it is not beyond the realm of possibility. It serves as a stark reminder that our choices, from the information we consume to the leaders we elect, can shape our world in profound ways. I hope that this tale inspires us to strive for truth, unity, and compassion, even in the face of adversity. We must remember that the fate of humanity rests not in the hands of the powerful few, but in the collective actions of the many. By working together and promoting understanding, we can build a future where the unimaginable remains firmly within the realm of fiction.